We're going to bring the first act up and I'm going to stop waffling on. I think we've got the sound levels all right and everybody's ready to go. This first comedian's been here before. He really is absolutely fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. So, I need a very warm welcome indeed to this first genius performer. Put your hands together for Mr. Ben Mortimer.
I'm going to disappoint you now. It was lying. Hello, Hooga! Hello! Wow, response, Hooga. Who the fuck actually came up with Hooga? Barstaff? Any idea who came up with the name? It just sounds like the noise you make after you've necked 16 pints. That sort of Hooga! So, Essex. Anyone here not from Essex? No? Wow. That's amazing. Okay, I've got to ask something, ladies and gentlemen, because I am an Essex boy. I'm local. I'm from round the corner in Southwood Ferrers. Anyone here actually have a vajazzle? You know what a vajazzle is? You three know what a vajazzle is. Yeah. Any of you have one? No. No one else? No. I mean, I'm completely. I wouldn't say obsessed with them. I'm just puzzled. I mean, there's got to be an easier way of covering up a dose of herpes. I like it, I'm performing for you three alone. Apparently no one else is enjoying this. So, anyway, I take it you guys must have seen The Only Way is Essex. No, you've not? Anyone in this room seen The Only Way is Essex? Yeah? Yeah? So, what are your thoughts on it? Who said yeah? It was you, again. Thank you. This is brilliant. So, what do you think of it? It's shit. Fantastic. The reason I ask is because it seems to be everywhere I go now. I spend a lot of time in London and I tell people I'm from Essex and instantly the response is, oh, The Only Way is Essex. And what annoys me is how monumentally stupid those people are. And I mean, it's not even just The Only Way is Essex. You've got Geordie Shore, that thing with the Northerns. You've got the thing with the guys in Chelsea. Might as well just wind them all together and call it Britain's Got Cunts. Actually, we know Britain's got cunts. Anyone who saw the riots in August, it's pretty clear Britain's got cunts. And the thing with the riots, certainly from what I saw, a lot of people were defending the rioters, or a small number of people were defending the rioters, saying, well, they're poor, they've not got any jobs, that's why they're rioting. But the fact is, the reason they've not got jobs is because they're monumentally fucking stupid, just like those The Only Way is Essex people. I mean, I don't know whether any of you sort of followed the coverage afterwards. I presume you did. Obviously, being in Chelmsford, not as badly hit by London. But the coverage afterwards, basically, there were people who were arrested. There was a kid who was arrested because during the riots, he'd stolen a bag of basmati rice, and his mate had photographed him doing that. It wasn't even good basmati rice, it was Tesco value. I really hope when he's being bugged in jail, his cellmate calls him pudding. I mean, it wasn't just him, there was another kid, also, strangely, he took a photo of all of his haul and him doing that pose, and then put it on Facebook, because that's going to turn out well. But of course, my favourite rioter, and I think you have to have a favourite rioter, was the girl who looted Curry's, while wearing her Curry's uniform. And it's not so much that she did that, it was her response to it. When the police came in, she didn't go, "Thank fuck you're here, I've been trying to stop them for ages." I don't understand people at all. Any single people in the room? Yeah, I see nodding, brilliant. I might come up to you afterwards actually, because I've been single now for, I think, about 18 months, a little bit longer than that, in fact. Been single for a long time, and I keep bitching and whinging and complaining to anyone who will hear me out about it. In fact, I have a mate sat over there in the green top, and he will vouch for me as being a man who bitches and whinges about being single.
The little girl.
I'm a whinging little girl.
A whinging little girl.
Thank you. And it got on my friend's nerves so much that my mate's mum, not even my mate, not his mum, but not even my mate, but my friend's mum, set me up on a blind date with a friend of hers. Now, it wasn't sort of a 58-year-old woman. The girl I met was reasonably young, in her 30s. But our numbers were exchanged, and we texted each other to arrange to meet. And basically, being a gentleman and thinking it was the sensible and safe thing to do, I gave her the choice of where to meet. Because, you know, if you're a girl, ladies, any of you been on a blind date? None of you? No. But if you were going on a date with a stranger, you wouldn't want to just randomly take their choice, would you? You'd want to pick. And you'd want to pick somewhere, I don't know, full of people, in the open, good communication lines, security cameras. Yeah, I see you nodding. It's like you've planned it out. Because this girl decided that when we met, we were going to meet in a country pub, in the middle of nowhere, on the quietest night of the week. Now, I'm not a rapist, ladies and gentlemen, but if I had been, I'd have been pretty chuffed with that. Anyway, we met, we went out for this drink, and within about 5 minutes of me meeting her, no, that's a lie, within 2 minutes of meeting her, she told me her favourite thing in the world was fox hunting. I don't know your views on fox hunting, ladies and gentlemen. Frankly, I think they're irrelevant, but I think you will agree with me. Don't bring up blood sports on a first date. Quite aside from the fact that you might have, you know, a little bit of an awkward conversation about it, and the morality of it, I tend to find if I'm on a date with a girl, I like to have something to talk about, and I like to sort of try to talk about the same things she brings up. So when she said, I like fox hunting, my immediate response was, I've run with bulls. To which she replied, I don't agree with bullfighting. Double standards? I mean, here's the thing, people genuinely confuse me and scare me and worry me. So I spend a lot of my time, a hell of a lot of my time, in the cinema. I don't even like films that much, it's just an excuse to not talk to anyone. And I don't know whether any of you who sort of, I presume these aren't the only people in the room, but certainly when you were meeting your partners, what have you, I presume you sort of combine cinema and romance by taking them on a date once in a while. Yeah? No nodding? No one? Yeah, nodding, thank you. I like you, you can come to all my gigs. Has anyone here tried combining movies and sex? Not in the cinema. That's good, but outside of the cinema, perhaps movies and a bit of bedroom action. The reason I asked, a few years ago, I met a young lady, and she was my last proper girlfriend, in fact. And when I got to know her, you know, within a couple of days, frankly, I asked her what the strangest thing she'd been asked to do sexually was. Because as far as I'm concerned, I want to know my boundaries. And her response was that a former boyfriend had asked her to dress up as Darth Vader. Now, my ex-girlfriend was about 5'2", 5'4". Do you know what? If I'd remembered stuff like that, we'd probably still be together. Slim, quite pretty, way out of my league. And so that sort of begged the question to me, wouldn't that chap have been a lot happier with a 6-foot-tall, leather-clad black man? In fact, a far better question than that is that man safe around asthmatics? Actually, thinking about safety, this whole fear thing, this sort of safety and fear, certainly as far as I can see, when I read the newspaper quite a lot, I watch the news quite a lot, it sort of permeates our lives. It's, you know, the threat of terrorists and strangers and dinosaurs and all the other bollocks. Okay, maybe not dinosaurs, maybe that's just me. And a few years ago, I did one of the worst jobs in the world. I used to hand out free samples for a living. And I don't know if any of you have done it, it's really fucking dull. It's really dull, tedious job. And to get through it, I used to strike up random conversations that lasted as long as they possibly could with anyone I saw. And there was one day where I was outside a supermarket and a woman walked past me with a child on reins. So I said to the woman, "It's funny, madam, you don't often see a child on reins." And her response, without even time to think about it, was, "Can't be too careful these days. Paedophiles everywhere." Really? Because, I mean, if we'd been, I don't know, inside the maximum security wing of Wormwood Scrubs or a Catholic church, she might have been telling the truth. But the fact of the matter was, we were outside Sainsbury's in St Albans on a Saturday afternoon. And frankly, I don't think any paedophile, no matter how, evilly, whatever they are, would go out with their shopping list of ham, eggs, milk, 4-year-old. Certainly not their 4-year-old. It was fucking ugly. Actually, that whole fear thing is, it really does, certainly. I don't know. Do any of you chaps read the newspapers? No one here? Oh, yeah, you read newspapers. And obviously, now the Olympics are coming up, there's obviously that whole terrorism thing again in the newspapers constantly. There was the other day, wasn't it, where the Americans were saying they were worried about the security precautions for 2012. By the way, 2012, guys, any of you who have to get to London next year, good luck. But there's, you know, that's been sort of permeating everything, as far as I can see, for years. And I think we should, well, certainly the newspapers tell me I should be afraid. But I'm not. Because as far as I can see, most terrorists are really shit. I mean, think about the most recent attacks. You had that guy on the plane trying to set his shoes on fire, who got beaten up. You had the guy who tried to blow up some Saudi prince by putting a bomb in his underpants, who castrated himself. And you had those guys who ram-raided an airport in Glasgow in a burning Land Rover, who got beaten to death. I mean, these guys, we shouldn't be scared of them, they're fucking half-wits. And actually, the interesting thing about those guys who tried to blow up the airport in Glasgow, and this is entirely true, I'm sure some of you are aware of this, they were doctors and healthcare workers and all sorts of other things. And so, a couple of days before the Glasgow attacks, they set bombs off in London, or at least they tried to set bombs off in London. But they failed. And the reason they failed was because, basically, they'd pilfered some of the bomb-making kit from the supply cabinets at work. And they built their detonators using NHS syringes. And the chemicals used in those detonators to set the bombs off corroded the syringes away, which is why the bombs didn't go off. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the first time in history NHS cutbacks have saved lives. It's weird though, I have a little bit of sympathy. A little bit of sympathy with Islamic extremists. Don't worry, you're quite safe. I'm not going to run off the stage and blow myself up in front of you. But, and here's the thing, if you truly believe in the most radical interpretation of Islam, absolutely believe it, then life's pretty boring. I mean, obviously, casual sex, drinking, they're out of the question. But actually, because of the rules of Islam, you can't make images of people, so art's pretty dull unless you like geometric shapes. No films, no TV. What you're left with is board games. Now, I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but to me, Al-Qaeda Monopoly seems a bit shit. You have won a beauty contest. Go and be stoned. Of course, that's infinitely better than Taliban Guess Who. Is it a man? No. Is she wearing a burqa? Fuck. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Ben Mortimer. Good night!